Now look, this might not sit well with some people. Maybe not with some of your financial gurus, things of that nature. But hopefully you get the point. And hopefully it empowers you. And hopefully you understand your power and our power as a people. What up? You got Mr. Smith. Point 5 of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And in this brief video, I want to talk about why I feel that gold, the metal of gold, is not good from a standpoint of currency. From a standpoint of currency, because a lot of people talk about how money was taken off the gold standard. Yeah, it was. But so many people think that money should still be on the gold standard. I don't think so. Not necessarily. And then, as it relates to gold, some people think that we should be using gold as a form of currency. And that, I'm like, nah. That don't make sense to me. That's just me. But maybe some of your gurus tell you different and they think different. Now, however, disclaimer, gold does have a ton of value from a standpoint of what it is able to do, from a standpoint of its electricity conductivity. Whole nother conversation. So a lot of times people don't understand the history of gold and the power that it had back in the day. So it does have great value from that standpoint. In that case, gold can be bought, purchased in the form of a precious metal or in the form of a collectible, because collectibles have value. But I do highly recommend, if you do have gold from a standpoint of you're collecting it and you're trying to hold on to it because it maintains value, because you bought into it, that it be in your possession. In some way, you can access it, whether it's a safe deposit box or at your house, whatever it is that you may, choose. But not investing into something and somebody saying they're holding the gold for you, or saying that gold should be a currency. Here's why. Because we live in a world that's abundant. And that's part of the reason why I don't feel as though money should be on the gold standard. Because we live in a world that's abundant. They create this scarcity mentality to make you feel like it's limitations on items. But think about anything that you buy. Anything that you buy, for the most part, unless it's a collectible, unless it's a rare item that not a lot of people have access to, most things that you buy was created from a natural resource. And when you think about the creator that created things that's available from a natural resource, we're talking about an abundance of this particular material, an abundance of food supply, all of what you buy with money. So to me, it makes sense for money to be as liquid and abundant as possible, due to the fact that we live in an abundant world. So the fact that we have gone to a digital currency state for the most part, you see the coin shortages and money shortages and certain machines and ATMs and all of that, and self-checkouts not even accepting cash or having any cash to give you back. That lets you know where we're headed. To me, it makes sense to operate in a digital society. Reason being, let me get that out of the way. Reason being is because in history, we tried using gold as money and going to different storefronts to buy things with gold. That timed out. It served its purpose, but it timed out, because who wants to be walking around carrying a bag full of gold or a pocket full of gold nuggets? It just doesn't make sense, especially in this day and age. So with that being said, money in the form of a gold currency doesn't make sense. And it doesn't have to be backed by gold either, because we live in an abundant world. No matter what they try to scare you and say that it's limited supply of certain things, the world is abundant. We throw away more stuff, especially in the food industry and just capitalism in general. If it don't get bought, in many cases, it gets trashed before they give it to somebody else. Because if they show how abundant the world really is, then it wouldn't be any of us who would have to work so hard for money in order to access the things that we want. Think about it. We're the only species on this planet that has to pay to live. The only species. Animals don't pay to live, all across the board. We're the only species, but we're the most intelligent. But all of those things that you will buy are in abundance. It's just that if it doesn't get purchased, they do away with it. It's not like they're selling out of cars every year. Nope. It's not like they're selling out of food every year. Nope. It's not like they're selling out of anything that you want access to. It's abundant, or the resources that made them is abundant. So that's how money should be as well. That point. Now, in addition to that, as it relates to gold, You want to have it to where you have access to it, because it's a lot of things that have been created in order to get your money in exchange for the gold, and it hasn't panned out. I see a lot of people selling different products and saying, yeah, you can buy into gold, buying this and buying this card and buying access to this. I wouldn't trust that. That's just me. If you're a lover of gold, then buy gold and buy it like my man, the Tatted Mentor. He buys gold in the form of buying it in necklaces and, jewelry and icing out stuff, because he can stash that, put it to the side, but he understands how to buy his gold in the standpoint of it still maintaining value. Derek Grace, that's the name. So he does that and he understands it. So if you buy it, I think you should have access to it, not buying it from somebody else. And you're buying it in the form of a collectible and buying it from a standpoint of quote unquote precious metal, because it will transfer into money, because somebody will want this if you just have to get rid of it all. It does have value to it because it's value based on the marketplace. Now, as it relates to money, this is where we have to understand our power. And let me see how much time I got. Okay, perfect. This is where we have to understand our power. As it relates to currency of any kind, whether it's gold back in the days, whether we decide we want to use copper, whether you transition to coins like we did previously, whether you transition into paper dollar like we're on now but partially getting off of, whether you translate that to digital dollar amount, whether you translate that to cryptocurrency. The only thing that gives its value is not the fact that it's backed by any gold standard. The thing that gives currency its value is what us as a people decide to agree on as being valuable. So if enough people aren't willing to accept gold as an exchange for a product or service, which they probably will, but if most people aren't willing to accept that, then it will not have value in the form of an exchange for a product or a service. If people don't want to accept dollar bills after a certain amount of time, everybody who's been holding on to dollars and saving them and holding them up to their phone, those dollars will be worth nothing if one day we up and decided, okay, physical dollars don't mean a thing because us as a people don't deem it as valuable. So it has to be enough people to accept something as valuable in order for it to even be considered as a currency. And when that it is accepted as a currency, then you can buy and spend with it and use it in the marketplace. Same with crypto. All of these cryptos exist, and some, have value, some have potential value, most are gonna be wiped off the face of the earth because not enough people will agree that they want to accept that as a form of pay because they can't necessarily trust it. So the point I'm making is this: the real currency is you. The real currency is us. The real value of the people are the people. If we don't agree on it as a collective that it's valuable, then it's not valuable. Simple as that. So what we have to do is understand where we're wanting to take humanity and drain the swamp, get rid of the things that aren't beneficial to us as a people, and keep things that are. And we might not all agree on one thing, but if we can check enough boxes off, cross enough T's, dot enough I's, we can go somewhere. And just wanted to say that gold has value from a collectible standpoint, precious metal standpoint, but not having to have money as back money or back currency or as a form of currency. The real currency is you and us as a people, not just gold. That's all I got. Mr. Smith, 0.5 of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Let me know your thoughts, your comments below. You agree, you disagree wholeheartedly. I don't care either way. I love it, both sides. But just wanted to share my thought process as it relates to gold, currency, and where the true value comes from. Salute.